Jeremiah 13:11. For as the girdle cleaveth to the loins of a man, so have I caused to cleave unto me the whole house of Israel. In the whole house of Judah, saith Yahawah, that they might be unto me for a people, and for a name, and for a praise, and for a glory, but they were not here. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Kakwadash, Bracket the Yahawah, Bracket the Yahawashi, Bracket the Yahawah, Bracket the Yahawashi. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit, the way that they continue to endure and be sincere. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same spirit. And shalom to the Akwatiyam that are believers of his faith and his truth. Lord willing that they continue to pursue their lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing to most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that is not in the faith. Lord willing, I'm going to title this lesson, We Would Not Listen to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. And this just goes with history merely repeating itself. This is Jeremiah 13:11 in the NLT. As a loin cloth clings to a man's waist, so I created Judah and Israel to cling to me, says Yahawah. They were to be my people, my pride, my glory, and honor to my name, but they would not listen. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi was calling us to listen. Part of being commanded something, you have to listen. We have to listen. And the Lord is speaking to us through his prophets that he sent day in and day out, rising up early to give us the word. You got I think an example, in the 11th chapter in verse 21. This is what Israelites were saying to Jeremiah. Therefore, thus saith Yahawah of the men of Anathoth that seek thy life, saying, prophesy not in the name of Yahawah, that thou die not by our hands. Right? They wanted Jeremiah to not prophesy. This is an example that the Lord is always speaking to the children of Israel by his prophets. And if you don't listen through the Spirit, you are marked. So I'm going to read to 23. Therefore, thus saith Yahawah of hosts, behold, I will punish them. The young men shall die by the sword, their sons and their daughters shall die by famine. And there shall be no remnant of them, for I will bring evil upon the men of Anathoth, even the year of their visitation. Right? Just like how we're supposed to listen to the prophet that's raised up as Moses, and you're not hearing his word, the Lord is going to require your blood at the end. And just imagine how it is the same as the prophets, apostles, evangelists, the bishops, the teachers of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. If you're not hearkening to the words that they're saying, because it's all of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, especially if that spirit is bringing forth or pushing or abiding in 100% truth, right? So, Lord willing, this lesson is on point and it lines up. Again, Lord willing, I title this, we or Israel would not listen to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, right? So you have to know history merely repeats itself. So let's go to Exodus, the 19th chapter, and let's go to verse 5. It says, now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar, a special treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. Guess what? We didn't keep that covenant. That is another example of knowing why Yahawashi had to come. Read in verse 6, ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And today we're still telling you the Lord is still dealing with the children of Israel, but in a small sanctuary. And when this kingdom comes, we're going to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation on the earth. But because we couldn't keep this first covenant, Yahawashi had to come because our sinful nature, right? So let's go to Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter. And I believe we're going to read the 9. We're going to read from 9, I believe, to 18. It says, "For Yahawah's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land, and in the waste, howling wilderness. He led him about, he instructed him, he kept him as the people of his eye. As an eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, beareth them on her wings. So Yahawah alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the fields. And he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flint rock, butter of kine and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs, and rams of the breed of Bahasham, and goats, with the fat of kidneys of wheat, and thou didst drink the pure blood of grape. But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee." And this even goes with Baruch, the 4th chapter, 6 and 7. We made the Lord angry, sacrificing to devils, and not unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Wisdom of Solomon, the 14th chapter. All these gods, these idols, these other religions, belief systems, they wasn't here in the beginning, and they won't be here in the end. Let me actually get that in Wisdom of Solomon, the 14th chapter. Yes, spiritual fornication. Yeah, so we'll read from 8 to 13. It says, "But that which is made with hands is cursed, as well it as he that made it. He because he made it, and it because being corruptible it was called God. For the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto God. For that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of God they are become an abomination and a stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise." Right? It's a trap. "For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life." So Jake, that's cleaving to other idols, other gods, that's just spiritual fornication. And that's spiritual adultery, because you are a creation of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Regardless if you are an Israelite or not an Israelite, there's only one God, one power, right? One spirit. Verse 13, "For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever." So when this kingdom, with Esau's rulership, when it falls, all these other gods and beliefs is going to fall with it. That order is going to be gone. And we're going to truly establish the ways of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi on the earth by the power and the wisdom that Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi is going to give us. But when we look at us right now, we are a people that have forgotten our power. This is why in this side, especially from that falling away, which really, excuse my language, excuse my French, even though I'm not speaking French, it fucked us up. And now that the book is being opened, it's only being opened for the elect. But you have to know, history merely repeats itself, like I said earlier. So false teachers have to arise that's not in the truth, but truly that is in the truth, but they're imposters. The same thing of old in the time of Yahawashi, before Yahawashi, it was Israelites that was serving other gods, but still trying to do the feast of Yahawashi. It was men or leaders that was sitting in a high position and trying to make themselves of a high stature or trying to get the high seat. And we have this today because history merely repeats itself, and it's really the mercy of Yahawashi that we're able to get this back. But right now, the only ones that will be listening is the remnant, the elect that have obtained that salvation truly through the Spirit. They already got it because it's predestined. But this right here is history. Look at the predicament we in now. It all stems from we would not listen to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Right? So let's go to Jeremiah 33:9. Let me see. Did I want to start up a little? Yeah, let's start at verse 7. It says, "And I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return, and will build them as at the first," right? And this is what the elect really desire, right? Us being one nation and not two separate kingdoms, Ezekiel 37. "And I will cleanse them from all their iniquity, whereby they have sinned against me, and I will pardon all their iniquities whereby they have sinned, and whereby they have transgressed against me. And it shall be to me a name of joy, a praise and an honor before all the nations of the earth," which we don't have that right now, "which shall hear all the good that I do unto them, and they shall fear and tremble of all the goodness and for all the prosperity that I procure unto them." Right? When you go to Revelation, the 11th chapter and 11th verse, when the children of Israel, right, get this, breath of life or spirit of life, we're going to stand on our feet, and these nations are going to be at fear, right? They might not show you, but starting with the elites, which you don't see them, you see their work, but you don't see them. They're at fear because now we're growing. And the things that you see that's going on with United States, because they're the forefront of all nations, that the Lord is revealing their kingdom fallen and they're divided. And you know what? Because I'm quoting it and we're speaking about it. Let's go to Revelations, the 11th chapter and verse 11. "And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them." And this is starting with the elites. Revelations 12:12. Satan knows that he has a short time. He's going to bring wrath upon us. And that all stems from the pyramid symbolically to the stature of, like, in the spirit, you have the elect. They're the top of the nation of Israel, starting with 144,000 men, because they have a different forefront position as teaching his word. And then you have the elites of the wicked, which is Esau, and then the other nations that sit at their round table. And then they have their small hats or minions that work on their behalf, right? So the elite, fear is falling upon them. So now they're moving on a high speed, even though they already was doing it, because the Lord have given them some understanding that eventually, their kingdom will come to naught. And they want to do everything that they can to make it last longer. This is why you have the AI situation, or we're going to try to live in space, because this event, they're trying to do so many things and even make bunkers to think that they're going to rewrite history and start over and then rule the next coming kingdom or whatever the heck they think, right? But the Lord already has this set up. So now let's go to Isaiah 43 and I believe 21. It says, "This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise." Right? The nation of Israel, the 12 tribes, we were made for Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. We were made like he made us for himself. Literally, right? For us to be the rulers of the earth, right? For us to have prosperity. There's nothing wrong with that. We're talking about the all-power God, the only God. We can't take none away from that. Oh, he can't have a favorite. Let me go here. Then you truly don't understand what God you truly serve. But we know who we worship, you know? Why, when we look at history and we line it with the Bible, is only one nation that been in multiple captivities because they rebelled in sin, transgressed, did iniquities, wickedness upon wickedness against the Heavenly Father, and then rejected his son. There's no other nation that got put into multiple captivities because they rebelled and transgressed against Bahasham Yahawashi. All people sin, but the law is truly given only to Israel. So technically, only Israel sinned because the law was given unto them. You know? But let's keep on going. Let's go to Psalms 81. And I think we'll start at verse 8. It says, "Hear, O my people, and I will testify unto thee, O Israel, if thou wilt hearken unto me." And this is by the Lord sending us the prophets. Plain, simple. If you don't get it, I can't force you. Verse 9, it says, "There shall no strange God be in thee, neither shalt thou worship any strange gods." Like any God that our fathers didn't. The Lord separate Abraham from his kindred and from his father. The Lord seen that Abraham was going to be faithful and brought him to the land that he promised his descendants. Verse 10, "I am Yahawah thy power, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. But my people will not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me, or known of me." Now, before we even let me actually read to 13, and then we'll go to the next verse, because again we keep hearing, in these scriptures, the Lord say, "My people will not hearken to my voice." Now, some of y'all might have it misconstrued, thinking the Lord is speaking to us like I'm speaking to you. "Hey, John, Bill, Timothy, Jessica, I need you to do this." No, the Lord is speaking to us through his prophets. As long as that sun go up and sit down, the moon too, the Lord is always sending his prophets. So verse 12 and 13. "So I gave them up into their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsels. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways. I would soon have subdued their enemies and turned my hand against their adversaries," which that's going to happen now. But before all of this, the Lord turned our enemies on us, right? So now the enemies of the Lord and the enemies, of Israel have touched the apple of Yahawah's eyes, right? Which is the nation of Israel, right? We are his possession, right? Regardless if he's mad at us or not, we will always be his possession. So Jeremiah 7, and starting at verse 12, it says, "But go ye now unto my place." This is talking to Jeremiah, "which was in Shiloh, where I set my name at the first, and see what I did to it for the wickedness of my people Israel. And now, because ye have done all these works, saith Yahawah," so this Yahawah speaking through Jeremiah, "and I spake unto you, rising up early and speaking, but ye heard not. And I called you, but ye answer not." Right? The Lord is calling us through his prophets. Right? Job 33:14. "The Lord speaketh once, speaketh twice, but man perceiveth not." The Lord is always speaking to us through his prophets. Right? Verse 14, it says, "Therefore what will I do unto this house, which is called by my name, wherein ye trust, and unto the people which I gave to you and to your fathers, as I have done to Shiloh. And I will cast you out of my sight, as I have cast out all your brethren, even the whole seed of Ephraim. Therefore pray not thou for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to them, for I will not hear thee. Right? The Lord even, man, don't even pray for them. And the same with the northern kingdom, the Lord did to the southern kingdom. So as a bulk of us, which it is some people in that land, we really shouldn't be over there, but the Lord kicked us out. And to fulfill later prophecies, the children of Israel is in the uttermost part of the earth, right? Which is technically America, the North Country that we read in Jeremiah, the 3rd chapter in the 18th verse. So now we're going to drop down to verse 24. This is what it reads. It says, but they hearken not, listen not, nor incline their ears, but walked in the counsels and in the imagination of their evil heart, and went backward and not forward, since the day that their fathers came forth out of the land of Egypt, unto this day I have even sent unto you all my servants, the prophets, daily rising up early and singing them, right? He had the prophets going in and day out. No excuses. Verse 26, that shows you when it's talking about hearken to my voice, he's talking about hearing the prophets because the Lord sends them out, right? In, what is it? 1 Samuel 9:9, the prophets were called seers in the past, and a seer is a visionary. And what is it? 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 19 to 21, these scriptures or these prophecies did not come by the will of men, but they were moved by the divine Rakakwadash of Yahawashi. So when Jeremiah is prophesying, he's moved by Yahawah to do these things. And just like us now, which a lot of us can't understand, y'all think the spirit is some Harry Potter thing, but the true Rakakwadash, when we go to 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 10 and 11, is going to have you searching the deep things, and it's going to have you teaching the deep things. The Rakakwadash is going to have you looking for the secrets, the mysteries, just like we see in Matthew 13, where the disciple says, why do you always speak in parables? And parables is an earthly story, but a heavenly matter, because parables, secrets, prophecies is not for everyone, especially when you go to 2nd Ezra, the 14th chapter, when we get a good understanding from verse 1 down, that the Lord had Ezra speak the words of the first 5 books from sun up to sundown, I believe, for 40 days, 40 nights. And then have 5 men that will write, and they had the Rakakwadash in them to write the scriptures from sun up to sundown. That was the Rakakwadash, and they all had understanding, right? The Rakakwadash is not some hocus pocus. This is the real deal Holyfield, and it's going to have you moving in a moving motion. And it's all about learning. It's not about heel toe tap dancing. It's about getting into the crevices of the scriptures, getting the deep understanding. The more you grow in this thing, the more you're able to understand secrets, especially in the law, the Psalms, and the prophets, to fully glance into things in the gospel and in the letters and in the revelations, right? So verse 27, verse 26, it says, yet they hearken not unto me, nor incline their ear, but harden their neck. They did worse than their fathers. Right? We did worse than our fathers. Therefore, thou shalt speak all these words unto them, but they will not hearken to thee. Thou shalt also call unto them, but they will not answer thee. Right? The Lord is speaking through Jeremiah, and really through the Spirit telling Jeremiah, therefore, thou shalt speak all these words unto them. And Jeremiah is just saying, hey, this is what the Lord told me that I shall speak unto you. When we go into the book of Acts, if you're not hearing this word, listening actually to what is actually being said or going on, right? I'm just going straight to the point. Acts chapter 5 and verse 38. It says, now I say unto you, refrain from these men, let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of God, ye cannot overthrow it, lest happily ye be found even to fight against God. So truly, if you're ignoring this, you're mocking, you're bumping against it, you're threatening, right? You're really fighting against Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. You got some that's laughing, some that, man, F this, F that. You got women probably twerking on the prophets or saying you pussy. You got people that say they of the faith and really don't even know through the spirit that they're dissing the real men of the Lord. In this truth and out this truth, you're truly fighting against the Lord. We can't say, oh no, there's nobody in this truth that's like that yet. In the time of Yahawashi, there was people that really wanted Yahawashi crucified. It was people in high seats that was like, if followers follow them, Rome is going to take our position and we're not going to be at the top. They even knew that somebody was going to have to die for the nation of Israel because it was in the prophets, but they didn't believe in Yahawashi. Again, history merely repeats itself. It just things now look more upgraded. You don't see somebody calling themselves Pharisees or Sadducees. Mostly, I'm a prophet, I'm a prophet, I'm a priest, I'm the high priest. And really through somebody's teaching, their behavior, what do they consist of? What are they always promoting? Through the spirit, spiritual eye is going to discern spiritual things. That's 1 Corinthians 2 and 14. But a natural man is not going to discern them, right? So, Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to say the water to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi for giving me the ability to teach this lesson. And again, call Halal Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi Bahasham Rakakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same spirit that they all continue to endure and be sincere. And shalom to the Akwatiyam that are believers in his faith and his truth. Lord willing, you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, the Most High have mercy on all the brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. With that, shalom. Shalom.